What's up, guys? This is OJ Light, and welcome to another episode of of my journey to a six pack. Alright, so let's kind of go over a little bit what I talk about on these live streams. Alright, so I have recently picked up, well, not recently, I've had this book for a while, No BS Wealth Trash, okay? And I read a couple chapters of this, and I thought this would be really good to go over in live streams because I think this book can be applied to all areas of life, okay? And I'm gonna read one chapter every week, and we're going to try to implement that chapter. I read the introduction yesterday, and we're going to kind of go over it because I'm going to probably read it again. Because I think this book is solid. I think this book is low key one of the best books I've read in a long time. And the reason I think this book is so good is so a few years ago, probably a decade ago, I read Stephen was it Franklin Covey or Stephen Covey? 7 Habits of Highly Efficient, Effective People. Okay, and he has a chapter called Win-Win, which I had a really hard. It's basically having a winner's mindset, and I had a really hard time with that chapter. I just didn't quite grasp that chapter, and I think this whole book right here, this whole book is that chapter. This is what that chapter should have been. It's how having to use that book, a winner's mentality. All right. I like to use the word having attractive attributes. That's the word I've been using to kind of describe what he's talking about. But I think this book is super solid, and it's probably I think implementing it and finding a way to implement the ideas in here is super strong. So let's kind of go into who I am. If you don't, so I'm OJ Light, right? And I come from the old Good Looking Loser forums, okay, which are now defunct. They are closed. I don't think the site is off the internet. I just think he closed it so only him and maybe some mods can look at it, but it's locked. But we're gonna kind of go over it. So Chris's big stuff, he's the one who went GLL, is there's three goals all men need to accomplish, okay? Plus a half a goal if you're into it. So we're gonna add that half a goal, right? So goal 1, get a 6-pack plus big dick. Okay? Get a 6-pack plus get a big dick. And this is, we talk about this a lot on this channel. We talk about this goal. This is primarily the stuff we talk about on this channel, right there. That's it. That's the first thing he was into. Get a 6-pack plus a big dick. And how do you do that? Really, guys, the strategy for this, guys, we're gonna just go over the strategy right now. The strategy for this, do this, is you gotta live a very scheduled lifestyle. Okay? Probably the best. That's probably a better. So what I mean by this, guys, is that you have a routine that you religiously follow. Okay? Example: I go to the gym and lift weights Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays. Okay? I do that religiously. Okay? On Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays, I do the Bathmate. I do that religiously, right? I follow that schedule. I only eat certain types of food. I have it already pre-planned this week when and what I'm going to eat. I only drink water. It is predetermined when I'm going to bed. Like, I live a very scheduled lifestyle, okay? And the idea in this is not restrict. So a lot of people don't like scheduled lifestyles because they feel like it's like robbing them of their freedom. The particular attitude I take is that's backwards, right? The schedule gives you more freedom, okay? Because when you just have chaos in your life, you don't really get to dictate what your time and energy is going to, right? Life just happens, and you never get ahead. In this, I am dictating where my time and energy are going to. That's why I like the schedule, okay? There's a lot more freedom in it. Okay? So that is the strategy. That is the primary blueprint of how I accomplish this. And right now, guys, the main journey to the six-pack is I'm trying to get to 200 pounds. And as of this morning, I am 234.9 pounds. So just shy under 235, just shy. So if I could lose exactly 35 pounds, I will hit my 200 goal. I want to be just a little under 200, just to make sure it's there, right? Just a ting, right? So if I was like 199.9, that's like a victory. Like 200, I'd be happy to. I mean, 200 is the goal, but like, you know what I mean, just a little shy, just to make sure I'm over it. Okay, so that's the first goal Chris talked about. Okay. So let's talk about goal number 2. And that is get 100 legs. Okay, this one's actually controversial. The first one's getting the shape, and the third one's making a lot of money. This one gets the most heat. Right? This one gets the most. It's kind of, actually, let me phrase it. So the guys who are really into this kind of don't like these two. And the guys that are into these two don't really like this. But this is like a full package, right? And there's a lot of lifestyles there's a lot of people out there that press stuff. So you don't even, if this isn't for you, then my content's not for you. But this is goal number 1, okay? And then you get this down, you do goal number 2, okay? And the main strategy for me, and there's a lot, or hobbies, okay? Let me explain. In the lifestyle I've chosen to live, I have a tactic called fill your day with play. Okay, and this basically means having hobbies that, physical hobbies, like actual. So let me give you a couple. Let me give you what I mean. Salsa dancing, gym, okay, bike path, this might seem like a weird hobby, but I like restaurants, okay? I don't even mean the food. I just kind of like going to see the environments. Okay, I know that's interesting. But anyways, guys, these are, if you even forget the last one, these are physical hobbies that I do. Oh, 40K. I do Warhammer 40K. That's not really a physical activity, but we'll put it down. Okay, I do these hobbies, right? And I meet people through these hobbies, right? And some of these people I meet are girls, okay? So when I say a hobby game, this is what I'm talking about, right? My main strategy is to meet people through hobbies that I do, okay? That's it. That's the strategy, okay? And there's tactics like I use, but that's the main focus, right? So let's get that off because we got one more. So just put hobbies, right? And the last one is cash. And this one's gonna take cash millionaire, but the main thing, the main strategy is business building, okay? A lot of people think it's investing. It's not quite accurate. Investing is to make sure that your money doesn't die to inflation. business building. That's the key to that's the particular strategy I take to building wealth. Okay, so these are the strategies, right? Scheduled lifestyle, hobbies, business building. Okay, so these are the three goals. Get a six-pack plus big dick, 100 lays, cash millionaire, not net value, cash millionaire. Okay, that's it. 1, 2, 3, and then what do? You disappear. I hate to say it, but that's what happens. You disappear. Alright, so we understand the goals. Now, what are these streams about? These streams are basically a record of the adventures I'm going on. Get these things built out. A record I'm going to leave behind. Okay? That's really what this is. That's really what this channel is. This channel is not the business building, by the way. That's not. I have something I call Company A. Okay, and Company A is the main focus in terms of building. So we've talked now on basically the three goals, right? So how are these goals going for me? So let's kind of go over the things. So again, I'm a little shy of 135. I am, in terms of Bathmating, I am 99 out of 500. So I have one more to the 100. Then we're going to do some remeasuring, and we're going to add some intensity to the program. I kind of got a head start. Some of the intensity, what we're going to add is we are going to add the size genetic extender. We did 5 hours today, and 5 out of 50 is, after I hit this 50 mark, I'll probably add a little tension to it, right? And then that's kind of what we're looking at. I don't know, I might go beyond the 50. We'll see how I feel. But I just put that out there for now. So that's going to happen. Tuesday should be number 100. This coming Tuesday. And then, like I said, Friday we're going to remeasure. Okay, so Thursday will be off. We're going to let everything heal up. And then Friday we're going to get new measurements. Okay, that's the deal. That's the thing. Now, last night I said I had two things I really struggled on. Yesterday the hunger was real. The hunger was real, guys. After I got off that stream, I really had to force myself to go to bed because I was thinking about going to a pizza joint down the street. I was fucking starved. I mean, I just starved. Today there was not. I didn't have any starvation, but yesterday, oh my god, the hunger was real, guys. The hunger was fucking real. And thankfully, nothing happened. Today I woke up, did my day as usual, and I don't have the hunger issues today. Okay, so that is where we are at. Alright, so the other thing was to fix the printer. I fucked with this printer for, guys, I must have printed 100 pages trying different things to get it to work. Finally, I went to a new, here's the thing, I didn't know if it was the printer or the program. I didn't have any way to test it. So I manned up and went and bought a $50 fucking printer, and it was the printer. I got the new printer, it worked. Sales letter is coming out this week. So what a sales letter, guys, is it's a letter that you send to potential clients, and you're trying to persuade them to have them as one of your clientele. I'm going to do Alex Mosey's 100 by 100, so I'm going to send out 100 sales letters in the mail every day for 100 days. So that's 10,000 sales letters. I am proofreading it tomorrow. I just want to print it out, make sure there's no spell checks, and then if it's all good, we're sending that bitch out. Okay? So that's the game plan. So, and then the last thing Let's talk about the girl. Okay, so write this down here, right? Remember my hobby, my game, I call it hobby game. So this is kind of an interesting thing. I see this particular girl. She works at a restaurant, okay, that I go to. By happenstance, she also goes to my gym. So we actually have a better, I guess you could say, I don't want to use the relationship. We know each other more better than some of our other clients because we go to the gym and we talk, okay? We see each other there. She asks questions about the gym life. I answer them. So we actually, this is really the thing. I mean, I met her at the restaurant, but really it's because we go to the same gym by happenstance that we actually progress like out of a clientele relationship. And today I asked her to go salsa dancing with me. Okay. And her answer is she needs to get the Saturday off. She wants to go, but she needs to get the Saturday off because she works Saturday nights. Okay. So, will this happen? I don't know. But a total step in the right direction, right? So, very productive day. Very productive day. So, I have a 2x rule, guys. So I asked her today once to go salsa dancing with me, and she said she's gonna get a Saturday. I'm gonna ask her one more time, and if it's a no, then it's a no forever. Okay, that's how I generally do. I have a two strikes, you're out type of rule. Because if I can't get you to come out with me twice, like I asked twice and I can't get you to come out, it's probably the third, the fourth, the fifth is probably not gonna occur. That's just me. Alright, so we're gonna reread this chapter again, guys. I know because I think this book, like I said, this book is life changing, and we're gonna work through this book. We're really gonna work through this book, okay? So this is the prefix, how to make yourself magnetic to money. And like I said, I think you can change that. You can change out that money for anything. How to make yourself magnetic to women. How to make yourself magnetic to fitness. How to make yourself magnetic, whatever it is, put it in the X. I think these ideas apply squarely with all of them. So let's kind of go with it. So when I say money, just put your X in, okay? So this is not a book about making money, okay? And I agree. This is a book about creating wealth. Both making and creating reinforce what I call the work money link, the limiting idea that we will change, a chain that we will break in this book. Words like make or create suggest that you obtain wealth only through and in proportion to effort exerted. These words imply that wealth comes about primarily, if not only, through hard work, through extreme exertion. This book is about the attraction of wealth. I use the word attraction most deliberately. In this book, I hope to empower, equip you to attract all the wealth you want with far greater ease than you ever imagined, faster than you think possible, with less work than you would think possible. In any economic conditions, booms or recessions, including the fast emerging new economy that I will speak about extensively in these pages. This is a radical shift on several levels. Okay. Now let me kind of put, before I read on, because it's just a thing. I had if you I'm gonna use my words, and then I'm gonna use his words. So I sometimes talk about I call them first principles. Okay, and these lead into strategies. And so I also call these attractive attributes. So attractive attributes, first principles. I talk about this a lot. And then I talk about strategies, which we just did. And then I talk about daily actions, which also I sometimes call tactics, right? So just so you know, when I say tactics, I mean a daily action. Strategies are where you primarily put your focus, and sometimes I'll talk about attractive attributes, first principles. And the difference between all these is this is like where you put your energy. This isn't something you do necessarily. This is just like a characteristic of yourself, okay? This is like a character attribute. And then this is like daily actions. This is like habits, tactics, if you want to use that. That's how I kind of look at it. So let's kind of continue on. So now let's read how he describes what I just did. There is a philosophical component. So we will be discussing your thoughts and attitudes and beliefs about wealth. But we will not stop there. As an early mentor of mine said, you can't eat philosophy. There is a way of thinking that repels wealth. That is obviously how most people think. There is a way to think that attracts wealth. If you think that way, you are magnetic to opportunity, money, and wealth. This is an all-important and yet is a hand often overplayed. A few years back, for example, there was an enormous popularity made for DVD documentaries promoting thought is the secret to wealth attraction. Always an appealing promise for obvious reasons, but a lie by omission. There's much more to that. Okay, so he calls this the philosophical. Philosophical component. Okay, so when I call it the attractive attributes or first principles, he calls it the philosophical component. Okay, there is a strategic component. Now that's what I got too. There are very practical things to do to put yourself in the right position to set in motion the forces that attract wealth. I'm not talking about investing strategies. This is not a book about investing. You invest to create or preserve wealth. That's kind of what I'm doing. This book is not about investing. Okay, I'm talking about the attraction of wealth. So relax. You need not fear yet another mind-numbing discussion of mutual funds and 401ks and stocks and trends illustrated with charts and graphs. Instead, we will be dealing with the entrepreneurial strategies, relationship strategies, influence strategies, marketing strategies that promptly employed make you magnetic to opportunity, money, and wealth. There are new mandates of the new economy too, requiring new strategies and clear focus on time-honored ones. This will be discussed here. Okay, so that is. So again, we both use the same words for strategies. Basically, guys, strategies. Alex Hormozi kind of talks about what a strategy is. It's basically where you're putting your time and focus and energy into. Okay, that's a strategy. Okay, you have so many hours in the day to do something, right? So you need to focus that time and energy into a particular activity. That's a strategy. Okay, where are you focusing your time and energy? I said earlier. So let me give you two examples. I want to give you two examples, right? So I live schedule lifestyle, right? That's my strategy for getting losing the weight. I live a very structured and scheduled lifestyle, okay? Again, what I'm going to do tomorrow is already pre-planned. What I'm eating tomorrow is going to be planned, even down to what I am doing for house cleaning tomorrow is already pre-planned. It's a very structural lifestyle because I only have so much time and energy in the day, so I've already determined what needs to be done. Okay? And then the second thing I am doing for strategy, for business strategy, is the 100 by 100. Like I said, I'm sending out 100 newsletters for 100 days. I'm not saying they're great sales letters. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying just the act. It is a strategy, right? It is a strategy. There might be things within the sales letter that are tactical, but the actual strategy still remains. I'm putting all my time and effort into building a clientele list by doing the 100 by 100. Okay, so these are the two strategies, and that's kind of it's part of the scheduled lifestyle thing, right? So it feeds into that. So this is what we're doing. This is what I'm doing. Okay, that's what I'm doing. Okay. And then let's talk about the last thing. There are behaviors that repel wealth, and that is obviously how most people behave. There are ways to behave to attract wealth. If you behave in that way, you are magnetic to opportunity, money, and wealth. Ultimately, this is my contention that wealth attraction is more about doing than thinking. In total, it is all about making adjustments to the way you think and act. And it makes it easy to attract all the wealth you want, faster and easier than you can imagine. Okay? So this 100 by 100 is both I think a strategy and a tactic, right? Because how do I build it? So the objective, the real strategy I'm trying to do, okay? The real strategy I'm trying to do, we're going to break the 100 to 100 out, is collect contacts, okay? That is really the strategy we're trying to do. That's really what we're aiming to do. The tactic is the 100 by 100, right? With sales letter. And there's stuff in there we can break down into another layer. But that's really what we're doing, okay? So this is how we get to this. This is how we get these goals we got, right? Cool, right? Awesome. So let's kind of read on and see what he says and see what else we got. Okay? Yes, a warning. When I say radical changes in beliefs and behaviors, I mean it. A lot of what you are about to read is going to be very hard to swallow. You will be tempted to instantly reject it. You will find it contrary and challenging to what you've been taught and what you believe. It will make you uncomfortable. It's natural to simply turn off and move away from anything causing you discomfort. However, a great deal of discovery and growth and progress in success is preceded by discomfort. So, we're going to go back to this. So the first thing, guys, I said yesterday reading this isn't really how he words it, but it kind of, one of the first principles, guys, is seek pain. Seek pain. And the reason everyone stays stuck, well, I'm going to speak about myself. The reason that I have stayed stuck in some areas of my life and not others is because I did not seek the pain in the situation. I fled from the pain. I didn't seek the pain, I fled from the pain. Okay? And that's generally where people get stuck at. That's generally, in my opinion, why things go awry. The first principle, one of the first principles or attractive attributes is somebody who seeks pain. You are more attractive if you seek out pain. Way more attractive. Way more attractive. Okay? I'm pretty convinced of it, right? Because, let me give you an example. It is painful for me, guys, to wake up at 4:15 in the morning to go to the gym. It is painful. It is painful. And yet, way more sexual attention from the opposite sex since I really started doing that, okay? It wasn't overnight. It took about 6 months, but way more. We're talking 100 times more. And someone's like, well, it's because you're working out. True, but what I wouldn't be able to work out if I didn't seek the pain, right? Okay, and even the act of working out itself, forget waking up and do it, the act of doing it, even if you did it like 2 in the afternoon if you could every day, is still fucking painful, okay? Guys, people, it doesn't matter what, like, you can give anyone, like, how to put it, there are gyms that are open 24 hours a day, so you have no excuse. You can go whenever it's convenient for you, and still people who will buy the membership and still not go because it is painful, right? So the pain is what it is attracting goodness into your life. Okay, so let's kind of keep going. This is a very blunt book. The No BS in its title makes that promise, and a lot of what is published elsewhere about wealth is in the feel-good category. This book includes a fair amount of things those other authors probably know but keep to themselves, lacking the courage to say them publicly. Certain they will offend people. I have never been concerned with who I may offend, and I am not about to start worrying about it now. I didn't even sugarcoat many of these discomfort preceding statements, building up to them gently, wrapping them in entertaining parables. This is a no BS truth about how entrepreneurs attract wealth, as I know it. To avoid having wasted the price of this book, and more importantly, how to avoid missing out on incredible opportunities to transform your life for the better, you need to tolerate some of this discomfort and patiently and carefully consider ideas and suggestions that might seem dead-long, illogical, irrational, and unreasonable to you. I'm going to stop right there. It's something I kind of didn't even think about yesterday. So, 2 other things he has kind of said, undertone, is in this opening is courage and not giving a fuck. These are, again, first principles. These are first principle ideas, okay? Or philosophical. We'll get back to that. To encourage you, I am briefly going to describe my qualifications. I'm gonna skip over this. He's the guy who came up with the proactive marketing plan, and they are now a $1 billion company. So this guy knows what he's doing in terms. Again, I tell you this evidence, the value and the validate of the ideas in this book, even though it might seem weird to you. If you stop and think about it, it's probably true that most of what you've been taught about money, opportunity, and wealth was taught to you by people without wealth. Most of what you've read or heard about wealth was said or written by the unwealthy. Most of the people you've associated with, whose opinions about money you've heard often, aren't wealthy. Most of what is your present belief system about wealth was built with raw material you obtained from unwealthy sources. In stark contrast to those sources, I am a wealthy source. This is confirmable. If my ideas didn't contradict, conflict, and challenge those in your present belief system, something would be wrong. Incidentally, I fully realize that you may be quite successful in your own right, and I suspect that's the case. Poor people rarely buy books with wealth in the title. Just one of the many reasons they stay poor. So, I do not discount your accomplishments or your knowledge, but I've worked with a great many successful people who struggle mightily to get there, who succeed despite their beliefs about wealth rather than thanks to them. I have watched such people go through the most amazing transformations and liberations with the ideas in this book, and you will meet some of them in the book. No matter how successful you may be, I am confident that you will find some ideas in this book that will make surprise and challenge you, liberate you, benefit you. I am confident that Donald Trump could read this book and find something to use to attract even greater wealth more easier than before. Ideally, your work on wealth attraction won't stop with this book. I should have done this yesterday, but I want to kind of go through this. I'm going to just kind of read through the different chapter titles, right? So chapter 1, which we'll be reading this weekend, no guilt, belief in abundance, break free of fairness, accepting your role and responsibilities, no fear, no excuses, speak money, be somebody, be somewhere, do something, demonstration, follow up, integrity, ask, the domino effect, passion, see what isn't there, no boundaries, clarity, independence, think value, not time, think equity, not income, marketing prowess, behavioral congruency, act wealthy to attract wealth, energy from people, courage, which actually I just read and I thought that would sound good, and pace. Okay, so these are the things that we're going to be going over the next. We're going to do one a week. We're not going to do this nightly. We're going to do one a week. We're going to really implement this. What is this? 28. I'm not. 28 magnets. This book's going to take probably into New Year's. We're probably going to be in this book until New Year's, guys. Okay, so. Boy, we have covered a lot today. I guess, yeah. I think I've pretty much talked about what we're doing. So let's kind of view what we're gonna do tomorrow, right, guys? So let's talk about the big two, right? So in terms of fitness. Big thing, so tomorrow is in my schedule of rest day, right? So we really just need to stick to the diet, right? That's tomorrow's main goal. Stick to the diet. Stick to the clean eating, okay? Tomorrow's a rest day from the gym. This morning I went on a 2-hour run with my dog. I thought me and the dog were gonna die. It was just so fucking hot. So I need a rest day. And then the second thing is for the business. Proof, read, letter. That's what we gotta do. I gotta proofread my letter, okay? Because we're gonna be printing out 10,000 of these. I gotta make sure it's right. Actually, I did work on something this morning. I kind of wanted to go over. Okay, I want to kind of show because I've. So, yeah, okay. So, for business building, I'm calling this the OJ Light business plan. And I don't know if this is. I got this from multiple sources, right? I kind of cobbled this together. So, let's kind of work from the bottom up, I guess. Easier. Most people think about income. right? Income. Okay, that's the most basic level, right? So, I've read a couple books. I should bring them in. The thing you need is, I'm gonna just kind of. So, most people think about income, and that's really where they stay at. And then some smart people have revocable trust, right? And then some people above that, which this might encapsulate, I mean, you can put this to the side, but I'm going to put it just above, right? They got tax shelters, okay? And these include, like, IRAs, health savings account, health insurance, depending on how you have it set up, and solo 401ks, right? Tax havens. Now above this, you have a business, right? So basically, you know, money goes into the business, and then it goes into the tax shelters first, and then it goes into a revocable trust, and then you get income from that. Okay, that's so far, right? And then how the business get, okay, so and how money usually gets a business is through fulfillment. Okay, that's like doing the thing you promised to do. Like if somebody pays you to mow the lawn, this is you physically mowing the lawn, right? And then you get the money that goes into the business, that goes into the tax shelters. Then the leftover goes into the revocable trust, which eventually gets into income, right? Now for this fulfillment, I'm going to see if this makes sense. There's two things I have on fulfillment, right? I'm going to call them the wheels. We got the offer. This is from Alex Mosey. This wheel. And then you got marketing. Sales. Offer. Right, like a little wheel. You make an offer, you market the offer, you sell the offer, then you have to revise, and it's an endless wheel. And that goes into here. And then the second thing that goes into here, and this I got from Dan Kennedy's, one of his guest speakers, is that you have training, which he said very few people have. Training. Hiring. There's no one. New technologies. Or new tech. Which fills in this. Right? So, in other words, guys, what this does is it gives you the jobs to fulfill, and what this does is makes the fulfillment better. And then you make more, money, which goes into the business, that goes into the tax shelter, which goes into the revocable trust, which goes into the income. Right? This is the system. This is the thing I'm trying to build. Okay. And when I say business, I really mean I'll put LLC. I mean like the entity, the business entity. So we'll put LLC-S Corp. Okay. This is the. And it's not quite this clean, but this is the thing I'm trying to build, okay? This is what I'm trying to build, right? And right now, guys, I am working on this part of the circle, okay? I'm trying to build this section of the circle in the next 100 days. That's what I'm trying to build. This. So, I got a lot of work to do, guys, a lot of work to do. Anyways, guys, that's what I got. So thank you for coming in today, and we'll see what tomorrow brings me. Anyways, guys, peace out.